What if your third eye is a literal ancient sensor? The third eye. You've heard the term before, right? It pops up in spiritual circles, ancient myths, and quiet meditation. It's usually described as this mystical gateway, an invisible organ that, if you can just open it, leads to enlightenment and a higher consciousness. You see it as the Eye of Horus in ancient Egypt and the Ajna Chakra in Hindu traditions. It's a symbol of insight that spans cultures and thousands of years. But what if it wasn't just a powerful metaphor? What if I told you the idea of a third eye isn't just a myth, that it's rooted in a real, physical piece of biological hardware you inherited from your most ancient ancestors? We're not talking about a mystical portal, but an ancient light-sensing system. In this video, we're going to peel back hundreds of millions of years of evolution to uncover the incredible true story of how this system evolved, leaving behind a mysterious gland tucked away in the very center of your brain, where it now acts as your internal master clock. This isn't mysticism. This is your own forgotten biology. Section 1. The Ancestral Eye. Our story begins a long, long time ago, way before humans were even a thought. We have to travel back to the age of early vertebrates. Some of these ancient fish, amphibians, and reptiles had something extraordinary: a third eye. And no, not as a metaphor. It was a real, light-sensing organ on the top of their head, a structure known to science as the parietal eye. And we don't have to just take fossils for their word on it. We can look at a living fossil, a creature that has survived for over 200 million years, since before the dinosaurs, the tuatara of New Zealand. On the top of a young tuatara's head, you can still see it, a small, translucent scale covering a functional parietal eye. And when you look at its anatomy, it's stunning. It has a basic lens, a cornea-like structure, and a retina with cells that look a lot like the cone cells in our own eyes. It even has a nerve connecting it straight back to the brain. But this eye wasn't for seeing the world like our two main eyes do. It couldn't form detailed images of predators or prey. Its job was something far more fundamental. Think of it as a biological light meter. Its primary role was to detect ambient light, the presence of sunlight, the angle of its rays, and the length of the day. This information was critical. It helped these cold-blooded animals regulate their body temperature by telling them when to bask in the sun. Even more importantly, by tracking the changing day length, this third eye acted as a biological calendar, signaling when to breed, when to hibernate, and how to sync its entire life with the planet's rhythms. It was a direct, physical link between the animal's biology and the cycles of the cosmos. So, it's widely believed that the common ancestors of vertebrates had some kind of top-mounted light sensor. The evidence is written in our skulls and in the DNA of our living relatives. But if that's true, it raises a pretty big question. Where did ours go? Section 2. The Great Repurposing. As vertebrates continued to evolve, a major split happened. On one path, you had reptiles and birds, but on another, a new group emerged, the mammals, our ancestors. And as they evolved, something profound happened to that ancestral light-sensing system. It wasn't that the third eye simply vanished. Evolution is often a story of repurposing, not just deleting. In the lineage that led to us, this system went through a major overhaul. The external part, the parietal eye that sat on the skull, began to disappear. Fossil skulls of our pre-mammalian relatives show the opening for this eye getting smaller and smaller over millions of years, until finally, in our direct mammalian ancestors, it was gone. But an internal part of that original system, the pineal organ, stuck around. As the mammalian brain grew larger and more complex, this ancient structure found itself deep inside the geometric center of the brain. So why the change? A big reason was likely the evolution of warm-bloodedness. Our ancestors were developing their own internal furnaces, so they didn't need to rely so heavily on the sun to regulate their temperature. That made an external light sensor for heat management less critical. At the same time, our two main eyes were becoming incredibly sophisticated, taking over the job of gathering all the information about light and darkness. The parietal eye's role became redundant, so this ancient sensor system embarked on an incredible inward journey, trading its view of the sky for a new, hidden home and a brand new purpose within the expanding architecture of the mammalian brain. It became what we now know as the pineal gland. Section 3. The modern sensor. Deep in your brain, nestled right between the two hemispheres, sits a tiny pine cone-shaped structure, the pineal gland. This is the modern heir to that ancient light-sensing system. It has no lens, no retina, and it can't see the outside world. And yet, its core function stays surprisingly true to its origins. It's still a master of light and time. Instead of sensing light directly, the pineal gland now gets its information indirectly from our two eyes. Special cells in our retinas detect light and send signals along a complex pathway to the brain's master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which then talks to the pineal gland. And what does the pineal gland do with this information? Its main job is to produce and release a hormone called melatonin. You've probably heard of melatonin as a sleep aid, and that's exactly its role. When your eyes detect darkness, the pineal gland gets the signal to release melatonin, which circulates through your body, telling it that it's time to rest. It's often called the hormone of darkness. When light returns in the morning, melatonin production shuts down, and you feel alert and awake. This makes the pineal gland a key regulator of your circadian rhythm, your 24-hour sleep-wake cycle that governs everything from your body temperature to your metabolism. And just like its ancestral form, it also helps track seasonal changes, influencing things like mood and behavior, a faint echo of its ancient function as a biological calendar. The external light detector became an internal light interpreter, ensuring your entire biology stays synchronized with the rhythm of a spinning planet. Section 4. The mystical and the scientific. This brings us full circle back to the mystique of the third eye. For thousands of years, spiritual traditions have spoken of this inner eye as a source of intuition and a gateway to other states of consciousness. The philosopher René Descartes even famously called the pineal gland the principal seat of the soul. It's also a strange coincidence that the pine cone, an uncanny echo of the gland's actual shape, has appeared as a sacred symbol in cultures from ancient Mesopotamia to the Vatican. How could so many disconnected cultures arrive at such a similar, powerful idea? Now, science can't validate claims of psychic abilities coming from the pineal gland. But the evolutionary story offers a breathtaking possibility. What if the idea of a third eye isn't a random invention? What if it's a kind of deep, cellular echo? An ancestral memory, passed down not in stories, but in our very biology. For millions of years, our ancestors had a biological system that directly linked their perception to the cosmos. It's possible that the persistent cross-cultural myth of an inner eye is our modern mind's way of interpreting a biological fact. The biology provides the hardware, a repurposed sensory organ in a profound spot in the brain. Culture and consciousness provide the software, the metaphor of an inner eye for intuition and looking beyond the visible world. This doesn't mean meditating will make an eye pop out of your forehead, but it suggests that when you focus your attention inward, you're directing your consciousness toward a part of your brain with a multi-million-year history of being a unique sensory organ. Conclusion. So, the next time you feel that innate sense of time, that rhythm of sleep and wakefulness, remember where it comes from. It comes from a tiny, ancient sensor deep within your brain, the ghost of an eye that has traded its view of the sun for the crucial role of being your body's master clock. It's a powerful reminder that we are walking archives of evolutionary history. The story of the third eye isn't about choosing between science and mysticism. It's about seeing how they can be two different languages telling the same incredible story of who we are. If you enjoy exploring these big questions that bridge science and the human experience, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. We get into mysteries like this every week, and now I want to hear from you. Does knowing the physical origin of the third eye change how you see it? Let us know in the comments below.